main outcomes, I hope that it will be innovative. We'll get innovative ideas, that there will be an exchange of good practices. There is this innovation race that started yesterday. And I hope that people attending this conference and also the European institutions will get new ideas for policy making. There are several ways we're trying to support the sector. On the one hand, we try to give financing to the sector through our programs microfinance. Then, on the other hand, of course, we cannot do a lot of things in the legal way, but at least shaping through the code of good conduct the behavior of the microfinance providers.
Okay, so I think like everything, the most innovative pathway or the most important thing is not so much the tools that you use, but the attitude that you bring to it. And if microfinance practitioners are going to learn anything about this conference, is that they need to open up their eyes with a bit more imagination to start thinking about the same problems again.
I would say that the most important innovation would be to simplify present legal and regulatory framework, both for credit and for micro-enterprises and self-employment, because they are really obstacles to the development of microcredit.
We need to focus the future development of the microfinance sector, the new innovations in different legs, in different main points, or paths to be followed. We need to think about new ways of doing microfinance, new business models, new ways of management, internal management of the MFIs, but we also need to think about new ways of raising funds, not only for public administrations but also from private bodies, how to raise funds, how to capitalize the MFIs, etc. We need to think about how to use the new technologies, social media, mobile telephones, etc. Because actually in this field, even developing countries are even more developed the European microfinance.
I'm thinking of a good number of pathways connected to microfinance, of course, in Europe. The first one is the legal framework, the working environment, which will make it possible for the microfinance practitioners to work. That is one. And secondly, is also innovative organizational models that allow change, because the situation in the world we are living in is changing every day. The situation in Europe is changing every day, the unemployment rate and whatever, which means we have to adapt to these changes that are ongoing. And which means also as well that the microfinance institution should have organizational models that are ready to adapt all these changes into their processes and products and services.
The transmission of expertise from small and medium enterprises in the north, particularly in Germany, Italy and France, to Eastern European microfinance enterprises. This can be done via the programs Jasmine and Jeremy, already launched by the European Social Fund, and also I suppose that programs for migrants, young and women, particularly the latter category, where Europe is still at its infancy, and Africa, Asia and Latin America can actually give some lessons on what regards to village banking, solidarity groups that with migrant populations in particular.
Microfinance is not just a tool for developing countries. Microfinance is important also for Western countries as Sweden, because we have also groups in our societies with very small income, just arrived from other countries, for instance, and we have a microfinance institute in Sweden working with these issues. We are in favor of microfinance. That's why we are supporting NEM, for instance, this organization working with microfinance. We also have 5 double the microloans at Almi. So microfinance is a very important tool.
I think the role of the EMN is to get out of the way of the most innovative people in Europe, which is the microfinance practitioners. The job of the EMN is to offer the platform for them to speak louder and better with each other.
EMN should be like a hub where everybody could go there and try to answer or get an answer about how to try to do things properly. Who else in Europe is doing microfinance in a different way, using new technologies or reaching clients in a better way?
Say 15% of interest up front.
There are a lot of students who want to study to implement complete project in microfinance.
The question on the social impact I would have is, I do recognize what you said that a couple of years ago the focus was on volume and on scaling up.
How can we combine the two approaches? And I thought that example very concrete.
The political environment also supports your investment a little bit. So how do you look into these problems?
Solar and all this kind of investment in the alternative energy shows that if you have a long-term perspective and the framework that is clear and credible, private investor invest in a business that is even based on subsidy, because for me it makes sense.
Because that's where everything is. That's where all the natural resources are that you can use to generate.
Another one could be to use tomorrow's municipal water management as a production facility.
I think that after this conference I understand better the language the investors speak, their expectations from MFIs and practitioners, and I think we will now better communicate with them in the process of fundraising.
What I really enjoyed here was the fact that you can really meet the practitioners and from all Europe, and people who really know what is microfinance on the field. With the booming of microfinance, now there are lots of conferences around on this issue, but where many people don't really know what they are talking about. So what I really enjoyed here is that there is experience and really practitioners are here to exchange.
We are to reflect about growth of microfinance. There is field to grow, so we need to find models and form to growth and to give more impact to microfinance in Europe. The main lesson I always take home is that we need to work together to become a big network, to grow together, to give more help to people that need microfinance.